It seems there's been a lot of talk lately about how electric cars are the future of transportation for everyone. So as we approach the end of 2021, we wanted to explore all of the great electric vehicles that are available today, as well as a few that you can reserve to get in the near future. So we've printed out images of the roughly 80 makes and models that you can buy today, and I've invited our master of camera, Ben Postel, to join me in exploring the best of 2021. Let's get into it.
Let's get it. What is the best value EV?
Well, I have to go with the ID.4 on this one. I think that the Volkswagen has a lot to offer. It has massaging seats, you know, it's got great range, it's got great charging, and it's a beautiful design. It's not, I think, the most attractive, but it's plenty spacious and it's good looking.
Good pick. That would have been my second, and this is gonna surprise some of you. I'm picking the R1T, which, hold on, hear me out. It's $70,000. How can a $70,000 car be a good value? Well, let me explain. 4 motors, right? Incredible quality on the interior, something that rivals the $130,000 Tesla Model S Plaid or even the $180,000 Lucid Air. I think it rivals the interior quality of all of those. The fit and finish is great. Again, the 4 motors is so capable, 314-mile range. I think it's the best value, even though it starts at $67,500.
Value for money, I think you win. I did not expect that.
Okay.
Because when I think of value, when I think our viewers think of value, they're not gonna think of what you just said. You make a good case for it. I'll let you decide which one wins.
I like my case for the R1T, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Next category is the best budget EV, so what do you pick?
For this one, I'm gonna have to go with Nissan Leaf. I think this is still a great EV. The only caveat to this, charging infrastructure. Still charges on CHAdeMO, and they are starting to phase out CHAdeMO. So if you are not driving long distances, or at least driving long distances very rarely, and you have time to plan, this is a great used EV.
I agree. That would be my second pick. If you can make it happen, go for something like the 2018 model, because they did refresh it. They did almost completely redesign the Leaf. Still charges on CHAdeMO though. So I might put this one back and choose the Kona EV. I see them around here in San Francisco quite frequently. They're inexpensive.
Yeah, I think that the Kona is a great option. I need to definitely spend more time with it. I've not spent as much time as I have with the Leaf. So I'm still gonna lean into the Leaf.
Okay, let's pick the Leaf. I think that's a more popular car, and I think it is a better used EV.
Only drawback is CHAdeMO.
Yeah.
Which car are you most excited to drive? This is a vehicle that we haven't had the chance to experience yet. Maybe it's too expensive, maybe it's not available yet in the US, or maybe it's just a concept that, knowing what you can't wait to get behind the wheel.
Good question, and honestly, I keep changing my mind about this, even as we're sitting here right now.
I've got like 4.
4?
I've got 4 that I want to, but I'm gonna narrow it down.
Give me some ideas. I'm struggling.
Are you really?
Yeah.
So I'll just tell you, I'm looking at the Tesla Cybertruck.
Okay.
Because it's just like radical, like it's just very different.
Yeah.
The Rimac Nevera, the Pininfarina Battista, and the Lotus Evija, like the hypercars. The hypercars. I remember the holy trinity of plug-in hybrids. This right now seems to be the holy trinity of hypercar EVs. They're all physically in existence. We just haven't had a chance to get behind the wheel of them.
I'm stumped. I can hardly pick one car. You gave
out of those 4, which one would you pick?
Yeah, you gave 4 good options. I want to drive the Rimac. I don't really know where to
Rimac Nevera.
All right. That was my pick for the most obtainable car. I'll have to pick the Rimac.
All right, because it's a team effort, it's the Rimac Nevera.
All right, sounds good. For our next category, we're gonna go with the best driver's car. What car would a driver, an enthusiast driver, really want to drive? What would you pick for this?
I'm gonna have to go with a new one, and I'm afraid it might be yours as well. It's the Sport Turismo. Is that what you're thinking?
No.
Oh, okay.
So, good pick. I'll have to go with the Model 3, but specifically the Model 3 Performance.
Interesting.
So Model 3 Performance, 0 to 60 in I think about 3.1 seconds. I think a little over 400 horsepower. Model 3 Performance, it handles well, drives well. Why do you pick the Sport Turismo?
So I'm someone that likes utility. So yes, while that might be great on the track, this is also great on the track. I'm gonna say that this allows me more cargo space while still being really fun to drive. I haven't technically driven this yet. We have, however, driven the Porsche Taycan, and that's really fun to drive. It really makes you feel like you're in the vehicle, and I feel like Teslas, while they are really competent on the track, just like a lot of electric vehicles are, I don't feel maybe as sporty as I am when I'm in a Porsche Taycan.
Totally fair. Porsche owns the track. They always have. I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't know which one will win on the track, but this one is gonna be our choice.
Sounds good. For the next category, we are choosing what EV has the best rear seats, the most comfortable, most practical. What would you pick?
So this one's tough. I definitely enjoyed the Rivian R1T, but I also enjoyed, and I've only had a little bit of experience in the Mercedes EQS. So I'm gonna kind of propose two options here.
Okay.
Do you have any other thoughts?
Well, let me have those because these are the very two options I was gonna propose.
Okay.
Initially, when I was assembling a list for this video, I chose the R1T. The back seats are phenomenal. They're honestly some of the best. However, Mercedes, like luxury, it's the height of luxury. Even Lucid can't compete with Mercedes luxury. So which is why I chose the EQS at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we probably should bring up things like the R1S. We should probably pull up, honestly, the Lucid does have pretty nice rear seats.
Yep.
But I love overall the interior of both these vehicles. I think the Mercedes has better front seats than almost anyone on the table here. I don't know which one. I'll let you pick this one.
Yeah, I'll have to get the EQS. The close second being the R1T, of course.
Okay, EQS.
The next category is the best user interface and best user experience. So that includes charging, how the user interface looks, and the touchscreen. It includes everything about the car that contributes to the user experience as a whole. What would you choose?
Well, overall, I really liked our experience with the Model S, but I think you remember from our review, I was pretty critical of some of the layouts, of some of the decisions. The yoke, not actually the shape of the yoke, but almost like the girth, the grip. So I'm actually gonna go with the 2021 Tesla Model Y. I would love to be able to say it would be a Model X or S, but again, with all those other things, and again, the supercharging, autopilot, for me, it's clearly the Model Y.
I'll echo that.
Boom.
The Model Y, the charging's the big part. I mean, nothing comes close to Tesla's supercharging network. And that contributes a lot to the electric vehicle experience, believe it or not, because you actually do have to charge your car. The app, phenomenal, the mobile app that is, and the touchscreen. There's reasons Ford, Rivian, and everyone else takes inspiration from Tesla's UI because it is that good and that minimalistic even.
With that, let's also do like a little bit of honorable mention. Rivian has done it well with the user experience. Again, a lot of it does feel similar, if not copied from Tesla. And then the Lucid Air, I think, has the potential. I think if they refine it, they seem to be going the right direction. I think that additional range means you don't have to deal with charging as much. That's a benefit. And so I want to give an honorable mention to that as well. There's a few others.
Rivian, Lucid up there.
Yeah, I think in my experience, it's got to be easily the Model Y.
Easily.
Best touring EV. Which one do you want to take for very, very long drives?
There's only one that comes to mind for this.
Only one?
Only one, the Lucid Air. Massaging seats, 520 miles of range, which means you don't have to charge. It's a pretty simple choice for me, to be honest. You seem more conflicted.
Well, so yeah, I had the Lucid Air in mind. The Model S, obviously, I did just drive it, thousands of miles. I think we put on 7,000 miles on a brand new one.
Yeah.
So the Model S definitely is high up there. Lucid Air is high up there as well with 500 miles of range, as you're saying. You do have to deal with Electrify America, which I've had some issues with. There's a couple others I want to mention, but just looking at these two, well, I have to mention it. I do love the Taycans. I think they're also really fun, but not for extremely long drives.
No.
So the air suspension on these, once again, I'm gonna let you pick which one out of these two.
Again, the Lucid Air, even though it doesn't have air suspension.
Or supercharging.
I think the coil suspension is plenty comfortable, plenty luxurious. And the Electrify America, because you don't have to use it very often, is the reason I would choose this.
Okay, Lucid Air is our winner.
Sounds good. Next category is the most lust-worthy EV. What do you lose sleep over?
I lose sleep over a lot, then. But let's
on this table, I should clarify.
Yes, so I want to say the Lucid Air. I think it's really compelling for a lot of people, but overall the design doesn't speak to me. I think a lot of people, though, this would be their winner. Okay. So I'm actually gonna put it right back.
Yeah, what's the caveat? I'm curious.
Well, I think for me personally, because it fits my lifestyle, it's the R1T.
Good pick. That was my runner-up.
Oh, really?
Cross Turismo, the Taycan.
The Cross Turismo.
Cross Turismo, not the Sport Turismo,
Not
the
just
Cross
the
Turismo. It is capable of off-roading, certainly not nearly as capable. It has plenty of utility, it's a hatchback, love that. 5 seats, just like the Rivian. I will agree with you, this also probably fits my lifestyle a little bit more, but I also, there's the sporty part in what I like about a car, so for that reason, I'm choosing the best of both worlds in my mind, what is the most sporty and the most utilitarian, and that is the Cross Turismo.
I think for daily driving, I would choose that. But this does drive really sporty as well. I find it hard to say no to this, especially given the price.
Sure.
So I think if I'm gonna try to win this argument, I'm gonna say the price for the driving experience, the Rivian R1T is like $70,000-ish. That starts at like 90, and honestly, to get any kind of version that you'd actually want, it's gonna be 120 plus. This doesn't even go that high.
It's so true.
Can I get you there?
Yeah, the value is present in the R1T. I'll have to give you that.
Okay. We've thrown a few interesting categories in there, and the first one of those is going to be, what is your favorite 3-wheeled electric vehicle? So let's just pull all of them up.
Okay, so we got the Electromechanica Solo,
The Arcimoto FUV.
and the Aptera vehicle.
There we go. Yeah.
The three wheels on the market right now.
Yep.
Out of the 3, I would pick the Solo.
Really?
Yes, here's why. Well, first of all, it's actually really expensive. It starts at $18,500. And for that money, you could probably buy like a used Leaf, a used i3. And for that reason, it's pretty expensive, but I do believe it has the most potential.
Interesting. I really like the FUV. I mean, partly because it's made in Eugene, Oregon, where I went to school.
Okay.
I also just think it's really fun. It's unique, but I don't see this being a lot of people's daily driver. I think it could be, but I think in America, just the way that we adopt transportation, I think we prefer to be enclosed. So I'm not gonna go with this.
Okay.
I'm also not gonna go with that. Yep, yeah, this seems like they are trying to do something that people actually want.
True.
I do think the 3-wheel vehicle is still a difficult category to get into, but this is the one that to me feels most like a finished product based on what they want to make. I know this one's actually not yet for sale, but I think when it is, I think that it's gonna be a step beyond the rest in terms of feel, comfort, creature comforts. I'm gonna go with that, the Aptera.
Exactly, and they also promised 1,000 miles on this thing because of solar.
Yeah.
You're just replenishing the battery constantly and potentially making it the longest range EV ever by a long shot. So I'll agree with you.
Maybe good for cannonballing.
Maybe.
Our next category is the best for in-city driving. Which vehicle are you gonna choose if you're mostly just living the urban lifestyle?
Good question. Picking the Mini Cooper SE. It only has 114 mile range, but for city driving, that's plenty. Small, nimble, $30,000 at most after the tax incentive. I picked the Mini.
When I think of urban driving, I think of kind of honestly a little bit more extravagant, a little more luxury.
Okay.
And so because I can't wait for this to be available, yeah, this is a bit of a surprise for me too.
What?
The Mercedes EQG. It's basically an electric G-Wagon.
Yeah.
And if you've got a lot of money, you're buying a G-Wagon today, and tomorrow I think you're gonna be buying a Mercedes EQG.
To be fair, I do see a lot of those here in San Francisco.
And there's a lot of other things I consider here.
Okay, consider this. You're not gonna be able to fit that thing in a parking garage here in the city. I mean, the spaces are labeled compact, which is for compact cars, like the Mini Cooper, not a G-Wagon. That's almost the biggest car you can get.
There's a lot of other things I want to consider here. I think
I like what you say about luxury. Is there a compromise here? I think there's a car on this table that might compromise the stature of the G-Wagon and the nimbleness of
I'm willing to put that back if you put yours back.
a Mini Cooper. I'm thinking the Mustang Mach-E.
I'm thinking the Mustang Mach-E as well.
What?
Only because I loved having it. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The Model Y is great, but the Mach-E, it looks more interesting, it's quieter, and it has a more dampened suspension. Over speed bumps, especially when I think of city driving, I do think of potholes, speed bumps, and it's a very comfortable car.
Quiet, comfortable, built better, honestly. I think this is the clear winner.
All right, that's our winner for city driving.
Next category is what is the best EV for off-roading? What do you pick?
I think you're looking at me thinking I'm gonna pick the R1T,
I am.
but Cybertruck.
What?
Yeah. If you're going off-roading, you don't need all 4 motors. You don't need that. I mean, yes, it probably is better, but I think, honestly, the Cybertruck, you could run into a boulder with the body of the car, and the boulder is going to take a dent. So, Cybertruck.
R1T, you say 4 motors isn't important, but without 4 motors, you can't torque vector the wheels and gain traction where you need it. That's why there's locking differentials on ICE cars. Air suspension, adaptive air suspension that has 15 inches of range. I like your point about the.
You can't scratch the paint. There ain't no paint.
There is no paint. This is true. So yeah, if you don't care about your car, I would take the Cybertruck.
Cybertruck it is.
All right, fine. Next category is the dark horse, the EV we did not expect to like.
Okay.
What do you pick?
There's a couple in mind. There's been a lot of, in the inverse of the other category, there's a lot that I've liked that I didn't expect to like. Specifically, the Nissan Ariya, especially with the interior and potentially the specs. But the biggest surprise for me, Fisker Ocean. I wanted to like it, but by the same token, I didn't expect to because Fisker has gone through a lot of struggles. I actually think it might make sense for us to buy one for a rental fleet in the future. So Fisker Ocean for me.
Okay, you mentioned it. Nissan Ariya. I think it has phenomenal specs, like over 400 horsepower, over 400 foot-pound of torque, which is on par with the Model Y. Interior, good. Exterior styling, not great, but also not terrible, especially in the darker blue color that we saw. I like the Ariya.
I'm gonna say that the Ariya can take this one, only because I also really like the specs, at least what I understand about it. I think a lot of people are gonna be buying it. I also think a lot of people are going to be buying this one, so it's a close, but because you chose that, I'm gonna give you the win.
Fair enough. I also, for what it's worth, think this is more likely to come to market. They promised this by the end of next year, but with Nissan and the legacy automakers, they do have a bit more resources.
And the Leaf has already been very successful.
Yep.
This I see as a much better, newer version of the Leaf for the modern consumer.
I think they learned a lot from the Leaf, and that's the reason they're going to succeed.
Great points. All right, so I'm just gonna jump right into our last category. What is the best overall EV? This can be, the most desirable. This can be the best user experience, top performance. What is the best electric vehicle, currently available or soon to be available?
This one's so hard.
Tell me what you're thinking.
Even as you're asking this question, I'm changing my mind. 2021 Model Y.
Really?
The best overall EV. Utility, performance. Okay, so if you want the performance, you can get the Model Y Performance. Still have a long range, still have the same utility. Decent track car, it's big and it's heavy, but my overall best EV for 2021 is the Model Y.
So for 2021, you might be right. I do think we can throw the R1T in there. We may even be able to throw the R1S in there eventually. Okay. There's a whole bunch of other ones I want to consider. The Tesla Model S, the new Model X for some people might be better.
But what encapsulates all of those things into one vehicle? The charging infrastructure maybe, or the utility, because I do know you value utility and performance. What vehicle encapsulates all of those things? For me, it was the Model Y. You can share this with me. I'll allow you to do that.
I want to, because if I was to drive away in one today, I'd probably choose that. Again, the Lucid Air, the Rivian.
Is that what you're choosing?
I don't know. Oh, this is gonna be hard. I'm still stuck.
Hey, while Ryan's thinking about it, drop down in the comments what you pick for the best EV of 2021 is. We'd be curious to hear your thoughts.
Like, subscribe, comment.
Because Ryan's still gonna be picking his car.
No, I'm gonna go R1T. To me, it's utility, it's sporty, it's everything. If you want the most in a vehicle on this table, you're gonna get an R1T.
I think that's the 5th category that's won today. And so I'm gonna hold strong with the Model Y.
But that makes it overall. If it's got 5 categories, it might be the best overall.
Good point, R1T.
R1T. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was kind of just a fun one for us. Again, if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next one. Thanks, Ben.